Presentation of the day. It's gonna be a good one. I'm very excited. I love their slides, so I hope you guys do too. I am going to introduce everybody. Erin Scharsmit has been a librarian for over 27 years. She is currently serving as the head of adult services at the Port Jefferson Free Library. Erin has created the library's Teen Center in 2007, and she was head of the Teen Services until she became head of adult services in 2023. Erin has an undergraduate in human resources. She received her MLIS from CUNY or CUNY maybe, Queens College, and has an advanced certificate in public library administration. Monica Williams is a library kid who grew up to become a librarian, which, yay, she earned a BA and MA in art history from Stony Brook University. She received her MLS from Southern Connecticut State University in 2011. She has been working in the library for 21 years and is now children's librarian who moonlights helping out at the adult desk. She is currently serving her third year on the CSLP Theme and Slogan Committee and her first on the Summer Symposium Committee. She enjoys using her creative skills whenever she can for children's programs, as well as helping out with library decorating projects. And then we have Kimberly Manise, is a dedicated librarian with over 15 years of experience and currently serves as head of children's services at the Port Jefferson Free Library. She is an active leader in her field, serving as president of the Children's Librarians Association of Suffolk County and co-president of the Port Jefferson Rotary Club. She holds master's degrees in liberal studies in elementary education from Stony Brook University and in information and library science from Drexel University, specializing in public and children's services. Passionate about inspiring a lifelong love of reading and libraries, she continues to make a lasting impact in her community. So please welcome the staff from the Port Jefferson Free Library as they present, connect, create, and celebrate a collaborative strategy for summer reading decorations.
Hey everyone. Can everyone see the screen? Make it. Okay, we're
Yes.
good.
All right, thank you.
Just wanted to make sure. The one thing you put me in charge of now. All right, so hi everyone. I'm Kimberly. We have Erin and Monica also with us. Venus was not able to attend with us today, but we will be sharing her content as well. So basically, we're here to talk to you about how at our library we connect, create, and then celebrate when we get our summer reading together. All right, so connect. That is our first place to start. So, sharing is caring. So our thing is getting the entire library on board. Getting on the same theme. It sounds crazy, but there were times in our library where we did not use the same theme throughout the departments, and we wanted to make sure that happened. It makes a more cohesive summer reading for everyone. As silly as it sounds, we start with document collaboration software. It keeps us all on the same page. Things like Google Workspace, docs, slides, sheets, calendars. That's how we put this presentation together. Dropbox, Canva, Pinterest boards. It sounds silly, but when to keep everybody on that live working document.
And it's not just about like decorations in this document. We do everything in the document. So in my department, we make sure that all the prizes are in there, any ideas of programs we want to do, everything is in one place so that everyone's on the same page and just put any ideas they want all together.
Yeah, we put images. We have different areas of our departments that we, will specify, like the big window, the open window, the hallway, and we throw any ideas that we can into it. A lot of times it'll be the same thing, so we'll know it's a winner if we go to put something in there and it's already in there. when do we start decorating? Is it ever really too early when it comes to this? We we do a Halloween costume swap, and somebody donated an inflatable green dino for so we held on to it because summer's right around the corner. Um,
And I just happened to be looking on the Home Depot site right after Halloween, and I noticed that these little dinosaurs were on sale for like 75% off. So we were able to get them, and they growl and they're cute and they light up. So it'll be perfect for any area in the library for the summer reading theme.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, pick the timeline that works for your space and your staffing. Um, we have very limited storage space at the moment, so these little dinosaurs and this one costume was isn't going to take up too much space. But if you don't have a lot of space, it might not be working for you to be buying things already. Same with staffing. And then Monica, you're
I always recommend the working backwards. So start where you want to end up and make sure you build in like 2 or 3 days just in case you have any kind of an emergency comes up or something doesn't work the way you plan. I can tell you from experience, this is literally how I got myself through undergrad, grad school, and library school. And I feel like it's one of those things that applies to anything where you have to have a schedule with a start date and an end date and plan something that works and make sure you just leave that extra bit of time in there because things can happen and you really want that cushion just to make sure. And if it works and you're done on time and you're early, that's even better. But it's always good to have that little extra built in.
but just in case you're planning a wedding right before summer reading, I must have been the only I don't know, am I the only children's librarian that decided to plan my wedding the same time as right before summer reading? They all thought I was crazy, but
Yes.
we had that timeline. So, and it was a do-it-ourselves wedding too. So when I wasn't making camping gear for for all together now. All right. um, the where to start decorating. We have a very interesting space. You'll see in a couple of pictures coming up. Always examine your space. Um, Look past the obvious spots. Erin, that was your thing.
Yeah. Even the like it doesn't have to be at your desk. It could be different places. If you have like a window overlooking the parking lot, put a dinosaur in there so people are like, "Why is there a dinosaur looking at at our cars in the parking lot?" Just think of the different areas you have in the library and you can decorate them.
And then we always say, think of your audience and who's entering the space. Again, you'll see in our space. So the adult reference desk is right up on the way to children. So they think about that when they put things at their desk because, little hands grabbing things.
Happens often.
Happens often. So things that may not, work for one desk, higher up or, so, and then there's always make sure that space remains accessible. You always want to, make sure that you're, remaining ADA compliant with the things that you're putting out. If it's things that it's movable, but, just as you're examining your space, we've put things in really weird places and it's worked out. But like I said, you'll see in some of our upcoming pictures the space that we have. We are, okay. Oop. Oop. I went back. There we go. Oops. Who will? Who will start decorating?
We encourage everyone to decorate. Monica, want to go with that more?
I am one of the people who helps out with it. And I do believe that creativity can be more important or almost as important as artistic ability. If you can be the person who brings the ideas to the table, you can probably find someone on your staff, no matter who it is, who might be able to help you execute it. Even if you're not that person. So work with everybody in all the different departments, use everybody's skill set, try not to burn anyone out. It's okay to say no to certain things if you're the go-to person for stuff. And also, we'll touch on more about it later, where we actually will have programming, which will involve people in helping to create the decorations. Some of our giveaways for last summer's reading program was we gave out art supplies to take home for people, and they return the decorations to the library. So those are some good options. And remember, things aren't always as complicated as you think. If you can sit down, you can break a lot of it down into manageable chunks. And this is something that I've learned the more I've done it, and things that look super intimidating are not always as scary as they seem.
Yeah. And, as soon as you have the who, what, where, when, and the why, you get to the fun part and you get to actually start creating. Um, so here's some of that weird spacing we were talking about. More sharing is more caring. We make the most of shared vantage points. We have several levels on our library. We have a main floor, we have an upper floor, we have a lower level, we have a mezzanine, and a lot of these spaces, they have shared vantage points. When I started here, I've been here for 11 years. I remember coming in for my interview, and from where you could see in the picture, with the camp scene, that's a window that overlooks the main floor from the children's department. And everything was backwards looking up at it. Nothing was viewable from the main floor, all of the wording, and I said, well, that's kind of not fair to the main levels. So, we really started thinking about that going forward when I did get the job and took over as head of children's. You could see in the other picture the where it says the SRP all together now, the letters are visible on both sides. So if you were looking down at from the main level, you would see the same thing in reverse. We added the hearts out of the holding hands as spacers to be able to flip the letters. But this way, it's just as welcoming from the main floor as it is from when you're up in children's. You know, for All Together Now, we went with, I'm sorry, not All Together Now. What's the camping theme? Last year was, why am I blanking on last year's with the camp?
Adventure begins at
Adventure
your library.
begins. Adventure begins. Oh, that's right. It's right in.
I have my water
the mug is
bottle
right
with
in
me.
front of me. So we went with the camping theme. Adventure begins. Adults went with more travel. So, a camp scene could have airplanes and air balloons going by. So we made sure that if you were looking out the window through our camp scene, you'd see airplanes and hot air balloons, and it kind of it worked. Um,
Unfortunately, this is the area that I have inherited, so you got to work with what you got, even if it's not a lot. As you can see, the desk not very attractive. So this is what I've done in the last few years that I've been here. The adventure begins at the library. We have learned that, just like Kim had said, the little children that go past all the things that were on the front of the desk, they would hit it as they went up to children's. So therefore, we will never hang anything like that on the desk because that gets destroyed. um, so this year we went for a little different. So everything that's on our desk is now flat. So if the kids want to touch it, go right ahead. It's still going to stay there. Some of it we did laminate because things did get destroyed again, but at least it looks inviting, and it'll get adults asking about it. Yeah, the children ask about it, and then we can tell them to go upstairs and sign up for their summer reading. And it's kind of like a little hint of what they're going to see when they go up to the children's room that's all decked out.
yeah. um, so so this is my space up in the children's department, and trust me, my desk is just as ugly as that one down in adults. But we do the best that we can with it as well. Um, so we had talked about involving the patrons. So those little handprints are all of our patrons. We put a number of rolls of white paper out every once we had a couple of drop-in programs. Oh, can Monica and can mute when they aren't talking? Oh, okay. Well, you guys are hearing an echo. They're hearing an. I'm looking in the chat. So, okay, we'll take care of that. So, so we had, we put the paint out, and I spent a lot of time matching the paint to the actual images from the actual summer reading club. I went to Michael's and matched up those exact paint colors so that everything went with the graphics. The words I cut out on the Cricut. Um, and it turns out, so our county does a, Suffolk County does a summer library tour where they get people to go to every library in the county. We have 52 libraries. They get a little pass book. So this year we already knew we were making that desk into a crayon box. I stand by that. I said that because we planned months in advance. And then it turns out they went with Crayola colors for every library. Every library got a Crayola color. We were Port Jeff Periwinkle. So it just was really fun that we were able to match the summer tour with our theme. That standee was down in the main floor, again, putting everything, matching it all together. The large crayons we had hanging up on the way up into children's too. Um, and then I do always like to do something where I keep track of how much they've read. So, we make it interactive. So I went, again with the paint palette. Um, and then we also, then there's our teen center, which is a little different because we have a separate building for our teen center. So Erin was the head of teens prior to being the head of adults. She was not in this building though. We are currently in a house built in 1812. It had been renovated to accommodate the teen center. So it's been hard to make sure, we always keep the same theme, but their space is very different. And especially since it's been renovated, it's historic. They're limited on the things that they can do, but it's teens and they want to be fun. So it goes from just, a teen space to a teen place, and they use every nook and cranny that they can for decorating. This isn't summer reading things, but, shelf markers up, anywhere that they can, they try to get, oh, yeah, that it is a beautiful, I'm looking at the chats. It is a beautiful space. Okay. So big items in small numbers. Or are we on?
There is something in the chat that is saying it's in the same property. It is a property adjacent to the library. It used to be that the teen center was across the street. Sorry, I was muted. So, we all from the chat, we are all on one property at this point. It was a house that was next door to the library that the library had purchased. The old teen center that I had been in charge of was across the street, which was a pain because the kids were crossing a busy street from the main library to that building, and we also rented it. So once the library bought the house next door, everything was brought here. So it's all becoming one main campus. It's not fully one main campus yet, but it will be attached at some point.
Okay, so so small items in big numbers. So this was what Monica was talking about. So this year, when everybody signed up for summer reading, they were given a little a little canvas that they brought home. And then we asked them to bring it back. 8 months. Oh.
And basically what we sent them, they got sent out to all the different groups. So they went out to the adults, the teens, and the children. They were given each a kit and then asked to return it with their artwork. And we were able to put them all out in a display. And it goes to show that even if you don't have a lot of space, when you put a lot of small things in really great quantities, then you can have something that is incredibly impactful, as you can see. Pictured here is the picture of with the lower shelves is from the teen center, and the other one is from a mix of the adult and the children's things being returned.
And then in reverse, we have big items in small numbers. So if you reverse the size, you know, we wanted to fill these windows up with leaves, but didn't want to make a million of them. So we went with big leaves to fill up that space with less items. Okay. So this is how we were talking about making patrons a part of the process. So in the children's department, we always include a decoration made by the kids in the summer reading club that they put their name on when they sign up. So last year we did the crayons. When it was all together, now I had found these cardstock body cutouts from, I think it was SNS worldwide. So they were able to, decorate the person to look like themselves. We told them they could make them whatever they wanted to, but, they were up the entire summer on all of our bookshelves. It was, really cool decoration that they were vested in and they were really excited. And again, the handprints were this year, and we had kids coming back all summer being like, "That's my handprint," or they'd forget where it was, and then we had kids who were like, "Okay, well, I remember the page was rolled up this much when you were painting, so you got to be in your handprint has to be in this area." So, it was a lot of fun, including kids on this, and then also it's another way to, a visual of how many kids are actually signed up. You can always run a report in the computer. We use Read Squared, but when you have a visual of, we had hundreds of those little cutouts, on the window for the crayons and of the people, it's a visual of how many kids are actually signed up. So it looks good for, the department.
Okay. And I'm big on finding art supplies and sourcing them. And I'm a big fan of things like cardboard boxes. If you get shipments from the book distributors, they usually have those panels that reinforce it. Tech services or technical processing, whatever you call them, saves them for me. They literally refer to it as Monica's cardboard at this point. And you can also ask if you have local businesses and your patrons to save things for you too, if you don't have as many things yourself. It's certainly a good thing to ask people for, and in most cases, everyone is going to have access to these. Shoe boxes are also a great thing. You can use them and turn them into dioramas, and then those can be incorporated into your decorations. Paper towel rolls, wrapping paper rolls. Ask your staff to save all their stuff. Ask your patrons to. People love to give things, and if you give them something that's super simple that they use all the time, it's a really easy way for them to contribute. And I also highly recommend when you're buying art supplies to take the money that you're hopefully going to save by getting all these cardboard and paper tubes and all kinds of things like that and buy good quality art supplies, because in a sense they will pay for themselves. Anything by Crayola. Sharpies are excellent. Blick paint is always really good. We love the pack-on construction paper. Any of these things are good materials. The quick sticks, paint sticks are awesome. That was how we decorated those cardboard leaves that were hanging in the windows. These kind of things will last, and that really makes them more valuable than instead of having to constantly replace things. So better supplies are going to give you better results, and things are going to look better, and that's a big part of making your decorations super effective.
So, unearth a story for your patrons. So does this theme mean to your audience? So Erin and I had separately, started our decor ideas. And, when we actually compared the list of things that matched, I mean, obviously dinosaurs, she said fossils, I said a fossil dig, we both said a volcano. This puts us on the same page of, am I going to make a 4 foot volcano up in children's and she's going to make a 4 foot volcano down in adults, or we combine efforts and make a 10 foot one right in the middle of, somewhere. This way we're not doubling over, or, a lot of times we'll find, we're able to save on supplies because if there's, she's using the same kind of supply that I'm using, we can buy in bulk, and that's a way to save money too. Looking for these crossovers, helps us collaborate even more. I was going crazy buying all that paint, with all the colors. And then she's like, oh, wait, can I use that paint too? And I had so much, and then her colors match my colors. And, and, it's just a way to collaborate and, save time, save ideas. So we're already thinking of things. These are some teen ideas. Obviously fun dino book displays. They've already been creating, this is from the teen department. They've been using their 3D printer. They found the foam core, dinosaur bones that they've been, cutting out already. So their teens are actually already ahead of us in their creating their their decorations. Um, oh, and then after you've done that, then you get to celebrate, and you are ready to go for summer reading. So I mean, in conclusion, for what we're focusing on, focus on doing less well. Like I said in the beginning, based on your space, your staffing, what you have, able to do, work on doing it well, work with what you have, cooperate and collaborate. We've had, every staff member doing something for summer reading, whether it's painting, cutting. We have a family fun day that celebrates summer reading. We have everybody involved in that. You do not have to build an immersive experience. We have libraries that are bigger than us in our county, and they do these crazy immersive things. It doesn't work for our space. So not everything we do is, can have that, but we work with what we can, and then take notes on what worked and what didn't work. I think everybody, that's the best advice is, keep notes of what you're doing, what didn't work, what really did work. Let's not buy that paper again. Let's not, one of the, we didn't talk about this earlier, but better than paper is a really good role. It's better than paper. It's and it doesn't rip. But we once bought the wrong sticky tape for it, and we'll never do that again. So things like that. Take notes on brands, on timelines, like, oh, we didn't start this early enough, or anything else you ladies want to add to that, or okay. And most of all, just have fun.
And in all seriousness, a volcano is just a triangle with a top point cut off. So if you think you can't make a volcano, or it looks like it's this big intimidating thing, no, it's not. This is, if you can crumple paper and you have basic scissor skills, you can totally make this. You just have to kind of sit down, take a step back, look at it, and you can figure it out. And I'm fortunate to work with people who are really, really good at these things too, and learn from them, pick their brains, use their skill sets, and you'll be better off for it. And it's a great thing to have. And if you have them on your staff, you're very lucky.
And if not, librarians gain valuable insights from each other. We're all out there, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube. Follow other local libraries in your area. Join local state library associations. Google your ideas. We're all out there. We didn't include a lot of decor ideas in this group because we knew, we all know how to search. We're all going to do that. I don't think Monica and I have had a normal Facebook message conversation ever. It's literally just crafts back and forth, like, when can we do this, when can we do that. So that's the only way Monica and I speak, through Facebook and Instagram. An occasional recipe, but usually, and now we just got over the winter crafts, now we're on to dinosaurs. So and so we did include some, there's the CSLP library programming group. Um, that's where I saw the dinosaurs from Home Depot. Erin had already had them ordered, but I saw that, and so that's where I saw that. There are examples and resources used in this presentation, and then the Teen Center did want to share their Instagram page. But we just, and now I know we have time left for questions and comments.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
There is one question in the chat. For the paint palette, tallying the reading, is that the size of a bulletin board? Um,
That
oh, looks
that
like, okay.
that is my 58.5 by 71.5 inch window. I'm going to one day have those dimensions tattooed on my, because every time I do that window, I have to relook it up. But that is it. That's a large window that looks into our activity room in the children's department. But I'm trying to think how I made. Oh, so that palette was actually made with the Better Than paper. um, so it was a wood grain paper, but it stood up the entire summer. The year before, I used their star print to make a mason jar for fireflies, and each group got a different color firefly, and that's how we tallied how many books had been read by each group. But yeah, it's a large window. And we do have a poster printer, but that palette I actually just kind of cut out by hand. It's it's called Better Than Paper. If I'm seeing in the chat, someone's asking what paper brand. The thing is actually called Better Than Paper, and it comes in rolls. Um, and yeah, it's almost like it's a little plasticky, but it holds up really well. We use it on the front of our desk too. Better Than Paper. Yep.
Great, thank you. I think there was also a follow-up question. Do you know what image you are going to use for this year, next year?
So, well, I mean, we like the images, so that's, so I think we're definitely going to I mean, we like the green, although green is very hard to print on printers. Neon green, we found that the hard way. So this is a nice green palette. I don't know, it falls right into my wheelhouse. I love the dinosaurs. We definitely want to use the little mascot guy that they came up with. So we will be utilizing the the um the images from the program. We actually did ask for some of the extra images ahead of time for our presentation. So you might be seeing some that aren't. I don't know. Is the catalog out there yet with the images? Is it released yet? Okay.
Mhm.
So
All right, a few more questions. Let's see. How do you store your decorations afterwards? And then kind of related to that, another question is, do you keep decorations for reuse?
so like the things like that the kids do, we give it back to them at the end of the year. Like, some of the things we try to give back. The big crayons went to a lot of local teachers who were eyeing up those crayons all summer, and some of the kids got to take them home. The bigger things we can't keep. Things like the Better Than paper, you are able to keep that when it's um things like the borders, like when I cut the border out to match the window, if I'm able to save it, unfortunately we do try to have to we recycle some of this stuff, and we can't keep it all. There's there was, what did we keep forever? That paper mache asteroid became a rock for the next. There are things that we will keep. Like I think when it was the space theme and then it was the sports theme, it went from a asteroid to then a like a strongman rock that we use in our strongman Olympics the next year. So there's things that we do try to keep. We used to have a pod that we kept things in. We don't currently have that. So we try not to overbuy. That's also a big thing, um, so that we're not wasting things.
Um, all right, so here is a good question, I think, that a lot of people have. Any ideas for decorating difficult surfaces? What adhesives do you use on glass versus walls?
So I mean, so I on my glass, it depends if I want to keep the blinds on the other side of the window open. Um, I I use double stick tape. We have Scotch double stick tape. The better than paper doesn't. We found that the hard way that the better than paper does not stick on my disgusting wood front desk. You have to get like the double sided mounting tape. So we have a lot of that. I have that in a lot of sizes. But double stick tape. Um, we have, I'm trying to think of the different surfaces we have. We have a lot of glass, like you saw all those windows. So we are very fortunate that the double stick tape does work for that. There are brands that are better. Like the smaller Scotch tape is the double stick tape is better than there's like a bigger size that sometimes doesn't work. Trying to think of our other surfaces. The double, yeah, we use a lot of the foam mounting, the double sided foam mounting tape. Better than paper has its own double stick tape. I actually didn't find it worked well, but that might have just been because I was using it on the wood. But yeah, double stick tape is our friend.
I'm seeing in the chat command strips, alien tape, hot glue, painter's tape. Oh, painter's tape and then hot glue on that. Okay.
Yeah. We do hang a lot of things, so we have a lot of fishing wire, the fishing cord to hang things up. Um, we have those drop ceilings, so we're married into like the metal strips. We were using um paper clips to hold the string in, but I did just buy. They make the hook clips that go right into the 1 inch metal strips if you do have like that drop ceiling, um, to hang things securely.
There's a question about the double-sided tape. Does it leave a residue?
Yes, it does. So yeah, we have a a handy dandy scraper, and we have it's a it's a more natural Goo Gone. But yeah, someone's saying Goo Gone, you just dab it a little bit. We try not to use too much of it, but yeah, I'm often up on the bookcase, scraping the window. We're very lucky. We have custodians who are great though, and they help us too.
Thank y'all. I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat, but we'll wait a minute and see if anyone has anything else. There was a request for your email addresses again.
I can. I'll go back to the first
Yeah.
screen. Oh,
That was awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you for that awesome presentation. I was expecting it to be good, and it was good. You guys did a really good job. And I
Thank you.
especially like all of the pictures that included the crayons, that color palette thing that was extremely cool. And the crayons in the background were really, really cool. You guys really took off with that theme last year and really went with it because it was very good. I
And
wish I thought some of that.
we actually my the page we have the library pages who run the summer reading, their
Mhm.
shirts were crayons too.
Oh, that's even better. And also that
Yeah.
you had like your own personal like periwinkle color.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it was, yeah, they gave every library in the county a Crayola color. And then people came in with a little pass book and they got a stamp when they came to the library and they had to find the color.
Oh,
So, and then they gave us, I think we got about 30 crayons of our color that they could color in the pass book. The year before it was an artifact. Adventure Begins at, so it was like a camping artifact they had to find. So it's a great way to get everybody to visit all the different libraries. And they make it match the theme of summer reading
mhm.
too. So it ends up being a lot of fun.
That's so cool. I think it's such a cool way to put all the libraries together onto a central theme. I think
Oh,
that's a
hi,
good
Dana from
idea.
Southold. But I did tell them, I'm like, I was doing crayons before you announced it was crayon.
Like I was ahead of the curve.
Yeah. And they were fun to make. That was literally just shipping tubes and industrial size yarn spools
Oh,
and
wow.
paint, and I did try to originally make the letters on the Cricut in cardstock and it didn't bend very well, so I had to switch to vinyl last minute, but it was fun. And yeah, and then they went home with kids. Kids were like, "Can we have them?" I'm like, "At the end of the summer, sure."
All right. Well, if there are no other additional questions, I will roll into the closing remarks. I want to say thank you guys again. That was
Thank
great.
you.
Very excited to see the whole idea of summer reading kind of come together, decorating, putting together plans and different planning dates and all that. It's great. Um, so I am just going to roll into a few of the closing remarks. A
Great.
little bit of like, what do you call that? Housekeeping. I have put an evaluation link in the chat. I'm going to put it in there again. Please fill that out. We would love your feedback. We want to know what works, what doesn't work. That just helps us in the next years when we have to do this all again back in May again. Um, and if you ever have any questions about membership, I will also drop that in the chat as well. There's a link. If you have questions, you can always email Dawn Kraus. She will be able to either give you an answer or link you up with somebody that can. Yep, she's waving. She knows what she's doing. Um, so definitely there's that. The recordings of these sessions will be available soon, and we will send a link to the recordings to all the registrants once they're ready. That will also include, um, we might even include some slides if we can. Definitely that link that Zara shared of that Google Drive that has all of those different programs to do. We'll try to include as much as we can into that email. There is a continuing education credit certificate that is going to be available for any of those who need it. That is found, it is all going to be found on, I will drop the link in the professional development page on CSLP's website. So we do have that as well. So in closing, all of us would like to thank all of our speakers here today. You guys all did a great job. I'm jazzed and ready to go for summer reading, and I don't have to start planning until January. So it's nice that we're kind of thinking about it now. Um, a great job to the manual committee and Amanda Raish for submitting the manual ideas, taking the pictures, putting it together. That's that's fantastic. We need that every year. It's so helpful. I love looking at the manual. I also want to say thank you to Melissa Hook, who put this whole Zoom thing together and always answers any weird question that I have, which there are many. And also to Don Kraus for their constant support and just answering all of my many questions and taking care of everything. And I also, of course, want to thank the planning committee that we have this year. You all know who you are. We have Donna, Sue, Barbara, Amanda, Kate, Kathy, Darby, Kelly, Lee, Lindsay, Mandy, Monica, and Tamara. Thank you all so much for guiding me through doing this for the first time. It was exciting, it was fun, and now to see it come together after so many months of planning was fantastic. Um, I'm trying to think to see if there's anything else I can share. I will share, actually, I have two things to share. You can access last month's inclusion webinar. I am going to drop that in the chat, as well as, of course, our evaluation link again. Please fill that out. That would make us very happy. Give us some feedback, then we can take that and use it for next year. Dawn, is there anything else that I haven't covered, or are we okay?
I just always want to shout out to Hoopla Midwest Tape, our sponsor, as well as Mac Kids for arranging to have Dan with us and to promote him as our summer reading champion. So those partnerships that we have really kind of enhance our programs here, and great library related companies whose mission we really support, and they support ours. So we're so happy that we continue to have great sponsorship.
Agreed, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a wrap, and I look so forward to seeing what everyone does for Unearth a Story. Don't forget our newsletter. If you have stories about what's happening in your community and what you're doing for summer programming, we would love to have your contributions that way, as well as on social media. So stay tuned for more. It gets really exciting from here, the build up to summer reading. So we're really looking forward to serving all of you and seeing what you do.
Quick question, everybody. We've got a lot of questions coming in about the type of file the CE certificate is and how to get to that.
It's a Word document. And it's a link at the bottom of the professional development page. I can take a look at it if there's some issues with it, but it's fillable. So you really just fill your name in, and then it's the honor system, you keeping the certificate.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you, Hoopla Midwest Tape. Was it Macmillan Kids that got Dan here? And thank you all librarians for coming and watching this. We couldn't do it without you guys. You're the other part. So I hope you guys got some good ideas, and we will see you at the next one.